Nature never fails to impress us, and there's so much we don't know about our natural world. And sometimes we hear a fact that'll leave us totally without words, which is what this list is all about. You'll discover the bizarre link between elephants and rabbits, plus stuff like why it wasn't a good idea being in the mountains during World War I. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 facts about nature that'll leave you speechless. But probably not speechless enough to not comment. You'll still comment, I promise. This didn't leave me speechless. I know, y'all. 25. The nature of glass. Did you know that glass isn't really solid? That makes it, what, a liquid? Kinda. You see, glass is actually somewhere between a liquid and a solid, a state called amorphous. When the material is produced, it goes hard but keeps moving around for longer than something that's genuinely solid. Something to think about next time you pour yourself a drink into a glass. 24. Forest rain. Clouds make rain, but trees make it too. How so? Through pumping enormous amounts of moisture from the ground and through their bodies into the atmosphere, leading to a downpour. This so-called biotic pump theory has been noticed in environments such as the Amazon rainforest. By the way, biotic means anything to do with living organisms. 23. Elephants and rabbits. I didn't expect to have my mind blown so early, but here you go. The elephant and the rabbit-like rock hyrax of Africa and the Middle East are ancient ancestors. They share genetic similarities, even if their appearance is wildly different. For example, the rock hyrax groups itself in favor of females, like elephants do. An elephant could surely squash a rock hyrax without really noticing, so this is one incredible fact. 22. Where coal came from. What's the deal with coal? We get it out of the ground and burn it to keep warm, but what about the origins of it? This fact is going to change the game. Can you believe that hundreds of millions of years ago we had super strong trees that weren't affected by bacteria? That meant no decomposition, so the trees just stood there till their roots gave way and they fell down. It was these amazing trees that ended up crushing each other, a process that ultimately gave the human race an epic coal supply. Though we should probably wean off of coal use. It's dirty. Literally. 21. Beware the slow loris. It doesn't look like a particularly threatening creature, but watch out. The slow loris is far more than a mischievous monkey. It packs a punch in the form of venom. And things get worse because this poison is capable of rotting your flesh. Should you travel to South Asia and spot one of these furry friends, don't go for a photo op. You might come away looking less than photogenic. 20. Moose poop moss. Splachnum rubrum is a remarkable moss, also a stinky one. This moss is found in the stuff that comes out of a moose's behind. It's all part of the crazy natural order of things. Moose poop moss spores are deposited by insects. Despite being located on something disgusting, the moss is very attractive to flies who act as its courier network. Hey guys, just jumping in here real quick to tell you some exciting news. You know how you love watching our videos for amazing facts? Well, what if I told you that you could also have 500 amazing facts in the palm of your hand? That's right, we wrote a book. This one right here. What the facts are you talking about? And you can order it right now and have List 25 right in your library or on your coffee table or wherever it is you keep your books. It's available right now on Amazon, so click the link in the description and grab yourself and friends and family a copy today. 19. Udders versus fins. What would you rather be closer to, a cow or a shark? Well, you might want to rethink your answer. Stats show that cows kill over 4 times the number of people annually than sharks do. Now, cows don't eat people, at least as far as I'm aware, but they can crush you if you get in their way. A Hereford cow from Great Britain can be up to 1,800 pounds in weight. That's equal to approximately 2 grand pianos. 18. The Himalayas were formed by a powerful event. This epic mountain range is believed to be around 55 million years old. So, what happened with the Himalayas? Did it just appear? Of course not. There were powerful forces that led to its birth. Specifically, different sections of the Earth's crust bashing against each other. It shows how awesome this spectacle was that the Himalayas are still standing all these centuries and millennia later. 17. Plants that pretend to be animals. Nature can be pretty messed up, as the sight of weird dead creatures lying around the countryside proves. Hold on though. You might not be looking at deceased animals, but a crafty plant or fungus. Using bright colors, these amazing life forms do this to bring in insects such as moths or butterflies. The fluttering beauties then transport seeds from the fake animal's site and drop them elsewhere so more of the plants and fungi can flourish. In fact, fungi are more animal than plant anyway. 16. Bird brain. It's usually a term of abuse, but bird brain isn't always offensive. Specifically for those birds who need to engage in what's called caching. This is when secret food supplies are stashed in various locations during the winter. Keeping track of all these tasty morsels requires a boost in brain power. So incredibly, some species can increase the size of their hippocampus, or the part of the brain which relates to geography. This behavior has been observed in not only birds, but in cab drivers. 15. Lobster life. Ever eaten a lobster? You may be getting more than you bargained for. Inside a lobster's gills and mouthparts are symbiont, a rapidly reproducing organism that survives on lobster leftovers. Hey, you're paying a lot for this meal, so why are you complaining about extra toppings? 14. Don't mess with trees. Think trees are passive? Think again. Special chemicals are used by trees as a built-in insect repellent. Trees pump the chemicals into their leaves should they come under attack by hungry, creepy crawlies. Did you know that trees also have an immune system? 13. An armadillo once repelled a bullet. It's apparently a rare thing, but it is possible for these armored mammals to be bulletproof. I should highlight the fact that armadillos can be killed by guns. They're not there for target practice and don't have any special powers or anything like that. An armadillo's plating is called osteoderms, and a recorded case exists of someone accidentally shooting themselves in the face after a bullet ricocheted off an armadillo. 12. But where's the sunscreen? The clue's in the title, people. Certain birds have what's called a uropygial gland. This is at the base of their tail feathers, i.e. their tushies. The chemical oil from this gland is used to detoxify the bird. Yes, even though it comes from the creature's butt, and also acts as a handy sunscreen. How do they apply it? They use their beaks. 11. There was a 2-meter tall penguin. Back in ancient times, small, adorable critters weren't so small. And can you believe this applies to penguins? The Pleiadiptes klukowski penguin is thought to be 50 million years plus old, and its remains were found on Seymour Island, Antarctica. Why did they die out? It appears they had some serious competition from the incoming seal population. If that hadn't happened, we might well be seeing giant penguins in Antarctica. 10. Mushroom wind. Mushrooms don't just sit there. They release what can only be described as shroom farts. Moisture inside the organism evaporates and generates a weird source of wind through cold air and water vapor. There is a practical reason for this. It helps spread mushroom spores, leading to the growth of more mushrooms, which in turn do farts, creating more mushrooms, and so on and so forth. 9. Single woodpeckers are faster. Woodpeckers peck at a higher rate if they don't have a partner. How much wood could a woodpecker peck if a woodpecker could peck wood? A woodpecker's pecking is actually called drumming, and it's been established that an unattached woodpecker drums up to 600 times a day. This is an astonishing 3 times as much as a woodpecker with family responsibilities, working out at 10 times per minute. 8. Plants that eat poop. In Borneo, there's a plant called the giant montane pitcher, which is also a meat eater. So any scurrying creatures better be careful or they'll end up being munched on by a pitcher. Or would they? In 2010, it was reported that the giant montane pitcher consumed shrew poop rather than the shrews themselves. Smaller creatures, however, are in deep trouble. Literally, because they're liable to fall into the pitcher's big bowl of goop and be digested. 7. Munchy pythons flying circus. Few ideas are creepier than that of a python catching and slowly swallowing its prey. Famously, they can consume and digest the whole of their unfortunate victim. But there are some surprising things that literally get stuck in their throat. A study of the Burmese python from 2007 explored how feathers, hair, and scales aren't dissolved in the snake's powerful system. When they poop it out, the undigested parts go along with it. 6. Humans have been around for 37 minutes. Come again? When you look at human existence through a calendar year system, our time on this earth seems super short. Not even 3/4 of an hour. Look on the bright side though. If you cram millions of years into 12 months, most stuff looks pretty underwhelming. 5. Animals versus CO2. Here's a wild fact I never knew. You can extract carbon dioxide from Earth's atmosphere with animals. How do they do this? By helping plants maximize their carbon content. Animals behave a little like gardeners, doing things like raking up soil. They can also transport seeds and spores when they move. This means more plants and more opportunities to absorb CO2 and keep the Earth cooler. 4. The crazy link between a desert and a rainforest. The Sahara Desert and the Amazon rainforest. One is dry, and the other is pretty wet. How do they relate? Well, one is extremely useful to the other. Dust from the desert is blown thousands of miles across the planet where it lands in the forest. This isn't just dust, it's a kind of food cloud that's beneficial for the Amazon region. Nature finds a crazy way of accidentally nourishing the ecosystem there, through minerals such as iron contained in the sandy particles. 3. Vote buffalo. Buffaloes believe in democracy? In Africa, they do, at least in their own way. They don't have senators or anything, but they do have a voting system, and it appears they're quite radical. Why? Because only the women of the herd get the vote. They do this when the buffalo are on the move. When they need to pick a route to go down, it falls to the ladies to step up and take turns looking in their preferred direction. The results are tallied, and then a final decision is made. I mean, I've heard of political beef, but this is just ridiculous. 2. No more seafood by 2050. We get some truly delicious food from the ocean, from juicy fish to rubbery and frankly kind of weird squid. I like squid. All I can say is that we need to make the most of it. Some experts have estimated that we won't have any more seafood after 30 or so years. Of course, things might change if we respect the oceans better. Otherwise, we'll have to make do with those strange vegan alternatives that taste like someone fried some pencil erasers in an old shoe. No offense, but sometimes the alternatives don't taste exactly the same. For good reason, but if it works for you, by all means. 1. Avalanches were the enemy during wartime. In World War I, you had to watch out for enemy soldiers. And mountains. Just because the human population was at war didn't mean natural disasters took a vacation. If you were unfortunate enough to be in the region of the Alps, you had almost a 50-50 chance of dying in an avalanche. Yeah, snow was an equal threat to bombs and bullets. Words fail me. But enough on the natural world. What about our human cultural practices? Some of these will really surprise you, so check out our video here. That was a quick outro. See you next time.